Straight off, let me now bring on board Mr. Pradeep Chaudhary, Chairman of India's biggest bank, which is State Bank of India. Mr. Chaudhary, good morning. This is Nikunj Dalmia joining in from the Mumbai studio. What do you expect from Reserve? What do you expect to hear from RBI today, Mr. Chaudhary? Do you expect Reserve Bank of India will do 25, they will do 50, or they will do 50 plus a CRR cut?
So we are requesting RBI for an easy monetary policy. That one is a cut in the CRR and at least a symbolic cut in the repo rate, because we think our repo rate is more symbolic, it's not very substantive. And we are also requesting RBI to make some procedural and structural changes, like the minimum tenor for bank deposit should be reduced from 7 days to 3 days.
Mr. Chaudhary, good morning. The central bank has also said that rates aren't high enough to impact growth. So how confident are you of a rate cut then?
It doesn't have to give confidence to me. If the growth were happening, then of course this statement should be right. But we have to see everything in the context of the results they are generating.
But sure, the Reserve Bank of India is of the view that banks have not passed on the impact of past policy rate cuts yet. Could we believe that if Reserve Bank of India announces further rate cuts today, banks will pass them on?
Repo rate cut, I am not too sure, but if there is a CRR cut, it is bound to happen, because it would lead to competitive pressure, and any bank which does not lower its rate would lose out in competition and business.
Mr. Chaudhary, how tight is the liquidity deficit at present, and how much is the SBI borrowing from the RBI's LAF window, and how much of an impact will a CRR cut then have for banks like you?
This liquidity is specific to every bank. I do not think the overall aggregate position mirrors the positions of the individual banks. So there are still banks out there who are borrowing 3-month money at 9.5%, and it's not a very small number, there are significant borrowings. But SBI's position is comfortable. We are lending in the interbank market, but we always keep some excess SLR. So currently our excess SLR is about 45,000 crores, and depending on the day of the month or cycle of the CRR, we are borrowing about 10 to 15,000 crores in the liquidity adjustment facility.
So Mr. Chaudhary, let me construct a hypothetical scenario. The Reserve Bank of India cut rates today. How will SBI react? Will you cut rates in some key segments, or are you likely to announce a rate cut in all your key verticals?
If it is CRR cut, maybe the base rate cut would become necessary, and all this, whether it is to cut the base rate or cut the margins, it depends on the competitive positioning of the bank, because already our base rate is one of the lowest in the industry. So unless other banks bring down their base rate, there would not be a big pressure on SBI to lower the base rate. But yes, there would be pressure to bring down the spreads over the base rate.
So, Mr. Chaudhary, how about home loans and any chance of a rate cut there? What are your targets for home loan growth, and how has it panned out so far for you in FY13?
See, home loan is little difficult to touch, because home loans maturities are 20 to 30 years. So if you agree to a particular rate, please, you have to keep in mind that you will have to carry that rate for about 20 to 30 years. So home loan rates are cut with great circumspection. But other rates, the SME rates, the car loan rates and the educational loan rates are relatively easier to cut, because you can assess the impact more accurately than you can do for the home loans.
Mr. Chaudhary, given the way how Indian economy has moved, infra companies are now applying for CDRs. Are you worried about your asset quality stroke book quality?
Again, asset quality is specific from bank to bank. We are happy to say that in the last quarter of FY12, we reduced our net NPA ratios from 2.20 to 1.82, and I think we will continue that, or may even slightly improve that. Now again, what kind of stress people will undergo depends on which sector undergo the stress. For example, if the discoms, which are being thought to be a scary situation, the state discoms, we have very little exposure to the state distribution company. So we don't apprehend a big impact on that account, but many of our customers who are supplying to these state discoms are facing payment difficulties which cascade down in their bank accounts becoming non-performing.
Mr. Chaudhary, give us your outlook on margins going forward and whether or not you're seeing any pressure.
And when margin is the best part of the business today. We had given a guidance of 3.75 and the current 2 months we have outperformed that. So we think that we will definitely be able to adhere to our margin guidance and possibly may even outperform. So, but broadly we would like to under-promise and over-deliver. So the margin of 3.75 looks very much realistic.